Do you ever wake up and feel like your life is on standstill? That nothing you're doing actually moves anything in any direction? Like every day is the same, every week is the same, every month. Or maybe it's not that extreme. Maybe for you, you find yourself thinking every single time at the beginning of the year that you're trying to change the same habits every year. Do you ever feel that way? Now, picture this. Close your eyes. Imagine where you were 10 years ago. What are you doing? What dreams do you have? What are your goals? What are you achieving? Who are you with in a relationship? Are you with a boyfriend, girlfriend that you think you could marry? Do you have a job that you like? Are you getting a degree that you're interested in? It's been 10 years now. Open your eyes. Look around you. Where are you? For me, the past 2 years living in this country has been a speed bump after speed bump for nearly every single week. A lot of great things have happened. Just moving here, I would say my life expectancy has increased when it comes in terms of the kind of healthcare that people have here. And it might have also decreased when it comes to the type of food that my body may have been used to. But 2 years is a long time. And the last time I made this video, I wore a t-shirt like this, so I thought it might only be fair that I make another video with this same t-shirt to have a conversation with you about what has changed so far. But I didn't want it to just be a rant. I wanted this to actually have some structure because I started college 12 years ago with a friend that I had a conversation with today. His name is Domin, and we recorded a podcast episode and video. And towards the end of that video, I had a lot of feelings because I was asking him for feedback, trying to understand whether he would, want to involve himself in some kind of business idea that I had and certain things. And just the whole idea of a 2-hour-long conversation of two friends catching up over the years. And it got me thinking about time. And it got me thinking that I had to make this video today, even though tomorrow I'm supposed to go live and talk about something else that I find very important. And I've been postponing this video mostly because I did not feel like I had the gravity, the intention, and the energy to do it. And as you come across and understand in this video for the next 3 parts, which I'm going to talk about, all of this culminates to the point about time and taking action and how ultimately we are our own heroes and our own villains. So what are those 3 parts? The first is take action, the second is hard conversations, and the third is losing subscribers. So in this video, I'm going to break down every single one of them and talk about how it affects my journey the past 2 years I've been living in the US now, and how that could apply to you. And to start with, I would like to first of all thank you for even being here in the first place. And if we haven't met, or if this is the first time we're meeting ever, my name is Kamga, and I've struggled to introduce myself about whatever it is that I do. But one thing that is very clear and becoming clearer with time is that I like to create, so I can call myself a creative. Whether it's writing, making videos, doing podcasts, doing poetry, I am a creative. And 2, I want to be able to live on my own terms at every single level. I don't want anybody to tell me what to do. And the more I think about that, the more I write, the more I read, the more I create, the more I try to build that kind of lifestyle, the harder I understand that it's not cut out for everybody. Not everybody can do it. And maybe you're one of those people. Maybe you want to do that. And for that, I'm grateful that you've subscribed to the channel. If you haven't yet, you might do that now for us to have conversations around wealth, relationships, and overall self-improvement. So, what have I learned in the past 2 years when it comes to taking action? In 2 years, I promised myself this channel was going to go up to 1,000 subscribers in the first year. That never happened. For one very simple reason. I didn't take action. Whenever I got an idea, or if I thought about it, I complicated everything else, and then something happened that made me, or I allowed the thing to stop me from taking action. I think the biggest hack that I've come across every single book that I've read, every single video that I've watched, every single piece of content that is trying to get you to create things is about taking action. And in 2 years, I have taken action in some things. I've been able to get a car, I've been able to drive, I've been able to keep my marriage, which for me is a very big deal and has been a very enriching educational experience. And I've also been able to learn about the community in which I live. I have a job that I still work with from home. I have friends that I've made here. Taking action in many ways has been something that I've used to stay here and grow. And when I look back to when I was in Cameroon and what has changed so far when it comes to taking action, my ability to understand and let go of other people's opinions has improved. It hasn't diminished yet. It's something that I've realized I have to work a lot on. I feel like whenever I come up with an idea to make something, I always end up listening to other people instead of myself. This channel is a big example. I know for sure 100% that I have what it takes to create a channel that is worthwhile. but I haven't taken consistent action. Maybe the third word is consistent action, because if I did take consistent action on any single thing that I wanted to, I'll be able to succeed doing it. And so for the past 2 years, I have taken consistent action in some things, which is staying here, improving my life, my work, increasing how much money I would make at my job. But I've not taken action in actually leaving the clutches of a job to build a life that I want. And so for the past 2 years, one thing or the other has stopped me from happening, or I've let it stop me. I like to keep saying that to remind myself, because it's easy for me to get into this mind space of, oh, my wife said this thing that affected me and I did not do this, or the government is doing this, or I'm feeling this way, or my job isn't letting me do this. It's easy for me to get up and then give the blame to everybody else. As you would see with the second part, which is a hard conversation, sometimes the hardest conversations that we need to have is with ourselves. We need to agree that we've messed up. We've dropped the ball. We didn't work hard enough. We didn't try everything that we could. We didn't reach out to the people who could help us. We didn't use our resources. It's easy, and it's been easy for me for the past decade and even more, to easily just tell somebody else, it's your fault. You did this. You said this. You upset me. You stopped me from achieving my dream. But taking action, as I think about the past year and how many times I've failed, every single time I got into my car, even after my accident, that was me taking action. The time that I had to pay for the ticket, that was me taking action. The time that I had to come back home after the job and I was tired and still had to try and write on Medium, that was me taking action. So I was telling you earlier this video was going to be different because it's not just about a story. All these things and all these memories that have passed in the 2 years, there's no one single thing that stands out that says this is so important that everything else doesn't matter. And I feel like that's something I'm learning to appreciate about being a human being. We make a collage of memories and easily just look back to one particular thing and say, this is the thing that made me what I am. This person spoke to me and inspired me to do this job. But it's never that easy, is it? It's never that simple. It's never just one thing. And I'm trying now to focus on one thing, which is taking action. And even with that, it's almost going against my own nature. But the truth remains that taking action is one thing that I need to do more of. It's one thing that has enabled me to get to where I am today and be able to say I'm quite successful at the level in which I am, but I could do more. And that is the first one. Number 2, the hard conversations. My marriage is one key aspect of my life so far that has really influenced a lot of thoughts around my own existence and my journey in life. There have been many times that I thought I may have made a mistake. There's many times that I thought I wasn't ready for marriage. And there's many times that I was both right and wrong. The doubt that we already have in us, I feel, gets exploded when you come to a marriage, because you need to be with somebody else who also has those doubts at their own level. And I think hard conversations, if they are not had in time by ourselves, with our spouses, with our parents, and all the other people that are involved in our lives, if we never actually take the time to have those hard conversations, they come back to bite us. And in the past 2 years, conversations around money, conversations around future, conversations around goals, around accountability, around communication, those hard conversations have actually made me realize that I have grown a lot in the past 2 years. Or even if I haven't grown in those 2 years, there are very important things that I want to have in my life that require me to actually grow. And I think that we often run away from those conversations because we don't want to be hurt. And I think it's because of ego. I think it's because we are soft. We don't want to actually accept that we have things we need to work on. Maybe, for example, you need to realize that you are too sensitive. And when I mean too sensitive, I don't mean it in a derogatory way. I am a sensitive person because I actually feel emotions. When you use words that I don't like, they tend to get to me. And there's a fine balance between letting people's words and people's opinions affect you and using those words and opinions to actually grow and improve. And that requires a lot of self-awareness. The hard conversations, I feel, require us to really step back and out of what it was that we were holding ourselves. And usually, it's hard to have the hard conversations. I need to start running more towards hard conversations, start actually looking for them. Because they're difficult, they make you feel weird, they make you feel queasy. There are conversations around, hey, you said you were going to do this thing 2 months ago, you haven't even started it yet. What's going on? Hey, you said you're going to look for a different job. Have you written your resume yet? Hey, you're no longer improving at work like you used to. You tend to be a little bit lazy. Or, hey, you said you wanted to start working on your side hustle. What has happened? When you actually have to realize like, hey, I messed up here. And that's just about a job. What about when it comes to your relationship where you say, hey, we had this conversation about the way you talk to me and I don't like it. And I think we need to improve the way we communicate to each other. If that's your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend telling you, And if you notice, this is actually somebody, if somebody can actually tell that to you, if somebody can actually have the balls to step up and say, listen, you made this promise to communicate in a particular way and you're not doing that, then you need to do something about it. And I think that's something that as human beings, and maybe even as men and as an African man, we've forgotten how to do. We've forgotten how to actually have those conversations because we are faster, quicker, losing our temper and screaming. I know I'm a fool with that. I tend to raise my voice when I get upset. And it's something I need to realize and work on a regular basis. And the hard conversations stands as a theme for these 2 years for me. Something that I never really had to have because I wasn't married. I didn't have to live with somebody who was accountable and I was accountable to. And those hard conversations, I feel, make us who we are. You discover yourself during those hard conversations, your ability to actually communicate, your ability to negotiate, your ability to be self-aware, to be empathetic and actually see where the person is coming from and really communicate and understand and then choose. Do you really want to work on this relationship or is it not worth your time? And I think hard conversations also have to be had with ourselves. I'm looking at my goals right now, looking at where I was. I decided to make a plan for June, and this is June ending, and I haven't accomplished even 1/3 of my goals. And I have to back up and actually have the hard conversation with myself, which is, did I set the right goals? Did I have the right expectations? Did I have the right kind of accountability? Were they realistic? Were they something that I could actually achieve? Were they achievable goals, like SMART goals? When you move to a new country without having those hard conversations, you would not grow. And that kind of sucks if you actually have to deal with that, because sometimes you need to step back and realize I'm no longer in my home country. Things are different now. The way things work here are different. And for the past 2 years, I think maybe the first year I didn't really realize that. And the second year now, I've taken into account a lot of the changes and realizing that I am here now. This has been 2 years since I left my family home, Cameroon, and moved to the US. And for some people, until you do that, you would never understand who you are. I mean, I said in a couple of videos that if you never leave home, you would never really know how much home is worth to you. And that for me stands as a part of the hard conversations. Number 3, losing subscribers. This happened today. This got me thinking about all of it. And it actually ties in well with both taking action, hard conversations, and goals as a whole. I put up a WhatsApp status, which was a kind of tongue-in-cheek situation where I was laughing or being upset at the fact that I put up a post about an event on my YouTube page and then I lost subscribers. But then I said I was happy because I got people to actually take action. Here's what I think. As a creator, we want to build as big an audience as possible. We want people to like our work, we want people to say they love it, we want people to actually give us, money, audience, time, attention. It's something that we live for. We want that. I won't lie. I want many more people to subscribe to my channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. And if you would like what you're watching, please share. I really like it. And it's easy to forget that people are people. And sometimes people get upset. Sometimes people don't want to have those hard conversations. Sometimes people take action in a direction that doesn't work for you. And I think losing subscribers today, which is, I lost 3 subscribers out of, I was almost at 750. I lost 3 subscribers. One, there's a whole counting thing, which is something I'm trying to work on, to stop looking at the metrics. Some metrics just don't matter. Some metrics cannot be controlled. I cannot control how many people subscribe to my content, but I can control how many videos I actually make. And usually it's finding the difference between metrics we can control and metrics we cannot control. Whether it's creativity, relationships, money, you can control how hard you work, but you may not be able to control how much money you make if you don't change the way you actually make that money. You could work as hard as you want for a job that pays you the same amount of money in 1 hour, or you could, work very hard on writing a book that pays you over time. So how hard you work is controllable, and you can use that to define how much money you make. You can look at relationships and say, you can't know how your spouse or your girlfriend will react to something you say, but you can always control how you react to that. So what we control actually is more important than whatever happens to the outcome. We can always control how we deal with it. When I look at losing subscribers, that's one of those aspects that I cannot control. But then it's a metric that shows me that I did something or said something that got somebody to click and leave. And for me, that's a big deal. But then there's another part, which is tongue-in-cheek part, which I said, maybe they just didn't know they were unsubscribing. But that's just me trying to soothe my ego, saying somebody unsubscribed because they didn't like me, and I don't want to deal with that fact. Why is this even important in the whole 2 years thing, being in the US? It's about the journey to make a life as a creative. No matter what you do on the internet, no matter how much content you put, you will have 2 people. And this reminds me of a video I watched just today by Nathaniel Drew, who just hit 1 million subscribers. And I think it's an amazing creator that you should watch. And he was talking about conflict in his video, where he said, no matter what you do, there will be conflict. There will be people who would like what you do, there will be people who would not like what you do. And for a long time, I was just complacent and doing nothing. And this video is even a testament of me trying to make sure that I'm getting as close as possible to who I am, because I actually want more people to like me for who I am or live for who I am. Because most people just aren't who they are. People curate their lives on the internet. They share only the parts that they want you to see. And everybody's going through difficulties, but nobody wants to admit that they are going through a very hard time. And there's also this pseudo vulnerability where people actually are showing the raw, vulnerable parts of their lives as a way to attract authenticity. It's like pseudo authenticity. When I think of losing subscribers, I think of the friends that I've lost this year. The relationships I no longer have, because either I neglected relationships or I found that I didn't need those relationships anymore. Losing subscribers stands to me as a testament of the things that we need to lose as we become ourselves. And going back to the beginning of this video where I talked about the 10 years, like when you look back 10 years and you look now, what have you lost? What habits have you let go of? Which friends, which relationships, which people do you no longer talk to because they're no longer who you were at the time? And now you're different, you're grown, or you just changed and they no longer can accommodate you. Maybe they cut you off because you chose to never change. And sometimes not changing is good. But if you're not changing, then are you really moving forward or backward? Because nobody actually ever stays at the same level. You're either moving up or down. It's rather impossible to just be at the same spot. And this is where I'm going to end this video. I don't want to make it as long as, everything. I want to talk about taking action, losing subscribers, and having the hard conversations. In 2 years, those have been aspects I've had to deal with and trying to improve more. I've talked about it multiple times on this channel, and just saying it just makes me sound like this broken record, just repeating things, and instead of just actually taking the action. And so I decided to make this video one take, which I've probably edited a little bit by now. You've probably seen some jump cuts, but to talk about the fact that as time goes on, you should never forget that time keeps moving and you never know how much time you have. I'm lucky that I'm living in this time right now and I've been able to make a video for the past couple of minutes without mentioning the word COVID. We live in a world that has changed, completely different. In a world where everybody's connecting now through the internet, through video or through calls. In a world where we're stuck at home working, a world where some people have lost their jobs, people are losing money in the stock market. I have lost money in the stock market. And where people are struggling to make a living somehow. Some people are grateful to be able to have a job. Other people are, like me, trying to make what they love, the thing that they actually use to add value. And what I would say is, if you have it in you to make something, learn to take action. You never know how much time you have. You never know who you're going to be. Maybe you want to tell somebody that you'll forgive them for something. Maybe you actually want to ask for forgiveness. Maybe you want to apologize for something that you did 10 years ago. Now could be a very good time to pick up the phone or write that email. Maybe you need to have the hard conversations. Maybe you need to talk to your parents about something that they did to you when you were a kid that still hurts you to today. Maybe you need to have a conversation with your friend or your spouse and tell them, hey, listen, this relationship isn't working anymore. Or maybe you have to call up the person that you really like and say, hey, listen, I've been liking you for a long time now, and I think we should try this. And maybe they would say no. Maybe you would lose them. The way you lose subscribers, the way you lose friends, the way you lose relationships. Life is something that we must all go through in our own way. And if you've watched up to this particular point in the video, I want to thank you very much for doing that, and to let you know that my gratitude to you goes way deeper than you can imagine for you to take the time and watch this. Every single view on my video means to me that somebody out there actually thinks whatever it is I have to say is worth saying, and I really appreciate that. And I would like to make sure that I keep that respect by creating more valuable content and more content that allows you to live the life that you want. So if you'd like to see more of this kind of videos, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the page and share it. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And also turn on the notification bell so that whenever I post a video, you would see it. And one last thing, as I'm uploading this video, there would be a debate, my first live debate that I'm doing on the channel with my wife and 2 friends. And hopefully I'll upload this before you see that. If you're watching this after the 27th of June, it means the debate took place, and I'm going to put a link in the end of the video where you can watch it. And yeah, it's going to be my first attempt at taking action, having a hard conversation, and knowing that many people who are watching my channel would not like it. And I feel really good about it. So I hope you have a good day, my friend. Take care.